Lesson 119 takes the quadratic equation and introduces the quadratic formula. And so let's talk about that for just a second. The quadratic equation is ax to the third plus bx plus c equals 0. And so we're going to use that with this equation. This is an example right now. We're going to do it in a minute. Where 3x squared plus 2x minus 7, that's our equation that we would fit in here. So a would be this 3. B would be this 2, and C would be this -7. Okay, those are the positions in the equation where they fit. So I just wrote that underneath them so we can remember that in a minute. The quadratic formula, based on that lesson we just did where you divide the coefficient by 2 and square it, that's what they've done here for the whole equation. And they'll talk about more of that in Algebra 2 extensively. But for now, that is where they get this quadratic formula. And so for now, I just want you to accept the fact that this is the quadratic formula, and that is that x equals -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So that is considered the quadratic formula, and now we're going to take that formula and we're going to rewrite it with this a, b, and c representation with a real number. So I went ahead and filled that in. Here's our example equation, and I put right here for b is 2. I put the 2 there. B again 4ac. AC would be 3 and -7 and over 2a. 2 and a is 3. So I've done that so far. So now all you have to do is solve the math. So that part is simple, and so let's take it from there. And so x would equal -2 plus or minus the square root of, and so we have 4 minus, and then we have minus 4 times 3 times -7. So that comes out to be 84. And so we're square rooting those. And so if I square root this and square root that, that's written right here in your book. I'm on page 502. And so then you've got, this would be 2. And so I've got 2, -2 plus or minus 2. Does that make sense? Times the square root of, so I've got 4 plus 84. I'm sorry, let me back up. So that would equal, sorry, I jumped ahead. -2, and this is, oh sorry, and this is all over 2 times 3, which would be 6. So plus or minus the square root, 4 plus 84 would be the square root of 88. Didn't need to make that quite so long. Over 6. Okay? Now I want to break that down if I can. So x equals -2 plus or minus. I can pull the 4 out, and that'd be 4 plus 22. 4 times 22 is 88. So I can square the 4 out and leave the 22 behind. And then over 6. And then I can cancel out from top to bottom the 6 and the 2 right here to make that cancels out, and that makes that a -3. So, I'm sorry, regular 3. So, I am going to then write plus or minus. Because it's plus or minus, you write it 2 ways. And so you can see that on page 502, they wrote it both ways right here. And so you're simply going to do the same thing for 2 problems. You convert the quadratic equation. You take the numbers that would be for A, B, and C, and you plug them into the quadratic formula. Here's B, B, A, C, and A. And you put those numbers in those spots and just do the math. I want you to try to do that because this is just an introduction to the quadratic formula. It's okay if you don't quite grasp what that formula, how that came to be, because you will revisit that again.